Hey everyone, welcome back to the Golden Nuggets podcast. My name is Nazreen and Ame. As usual, today we are on the second episode of the ParentPreneur series. And today, our special guest, she's a powerhouse mom, guys, and an entrepreneur who's crushing in the health and wellness space. She's on a mission to help women in their 40s take control of their health. Let's everyone welcome Jasmin Dhillon to the show.
Yeah. So,
hey guys.
Hi, Jasmin. Can you share with our listeners a bit about yourself? Who is Jasmin?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like getting straight into it. Right. Who is Jasmin? Well, firstly, I'm a mum.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 3 boys.
Okay.
10-year-old and 8-year-old twins.
Oh,
4 boys if you include my dog.
Okay.
Because he's my little baby as well. And I'm a health strategist.
Okay.
So what I do is I help women in their 40s optimize their health in a way where they can feel better, not just sort of physically, but also emotionally as well. And I'm a podcast host, just like you guys.
Nice. So, can you share what is your podcast name?
The podcast is the Forties Formula.
Okay.
And I co-host that with my co-host, Amanda Lim. And it's to help women, again, in their 40s thrive. Because I feel like a lot of women in this decade, they're just on survival mode. There's like so much stuff going on in their head. Not just in their head, sort of also with what they're doing with work, with family. And they get into this mode where it's just about getting through. And we're on a mission to help women thrive through this decade and make this the best decade yet.
Okay. So, you mentioned in health strategies, right?
Yes.
Because when we research about you, the term integrated health strategist came up.
Yes.
Can you explain more what is a health strategist and how do you come about to give yourself that particular title?
Right. So what I'm doing is I'm going beyond looking at just food and exercise as a way to manage health. An integrated health strategist is somebody who helps you strategize and come up with a method to optimize all aspects of your health.
Okay.
So that could be sleep, nutrition, exercise, stress management, and figure out what is going on. So I'm looking at things like your gut microbiome. I'm looking at your hormones. I'm looking at, whether you're sleeping well. Are you overly stressed out? How are you eating? All of these things sort of all come together. You can't just have one and feel like, you're crushing it. You kind of need everything to work in a way so that you are able to balance and really feel the effects of feeling yourself.
Okay. Forgive my ignorance, right?
Yes.
But can you share with me the difference between a integrated health strategist and also a wellness coach?
It is actually similar.
Okay.
So a wellness coach will help you, again, get to where you want to be. They're guiding you through your journey and where you want to be. Integrated health strategist is also helping you sort of decode, design, and implement and do what needs to be done.
Okay. That's interesting because this is the first time I actually come across this particular term. And all this while, a lot of people keep on coming up to me and they say they are a wellness coach.
Yeah.
And I kind of like get it because they are looking at things holistically. But now that you mentioned about health strategies, I think that's an interesting thing too.
I think what it is a wellness coach, a health coach, it's similar. They will help you get there. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it simple and make it into a strategy that will help you move forward. Sometimes with coaching, it's just about the open-ended questions and helping you understand and lead you down the road that you want to get to. But, if we've gone for, let's say, a biomarker test and you've had your hormones tested and your microbiome tested and it's telling you a particular thing, how do we take that information and put it into a method that you can understand and actually implement? And that is what a strategist is doing.
Right. Okay. I also got to know that you are the founder of Eat with Jasmin.
I am.
Share with us more about that.
Well, it's funny actually. So Eat with Jasmin started off as an Instagram account.
Okay.
So I think it was it before COVID? It was either just after COVID, during COVID, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I feel like COVID time was just a blur.
Yeah.
But during that time, I used to take photos of what I was eating and send it to my family in a WhatsApp group. And my brother, who is much, much younger than me, was like, just put it on Instagram because, you know, like we don't need to see your food.
Yeah.
And I did that. I just set up an Instagram account and I started taking photos of my food. And one thing led to another and it just grew and people were interested in what I was eating for health. So it wasn't just that, you know, I'm like going out and eating cake and, you know, I was actually showing people how to eat in a healthy way. And from there, I started getting people asking me, oh, can you help us? You know, how do we eat? Because I was also losing weight. So they wanted the support.
Shed some calories.
Exactly. And so it was something that started off as like a little passion project, which has sort of developed into Eat with Jasmin, which is part of now the integrated health strategy that I help people. Because again, nutrition started off as being the focal point for me, but it's developed into something so much more.
Do you do like a mukbang live eating?
Okay. I think I did in the early days, but it wasn't so much of, you know, like the mukbang type style eating. It was more of, you know, just like, oh, I'm trying this. I think even though it's so weird, I'm on camera all the time, you know, like when we're filming for the Forties Formula, I'm on camera, but I still get shy and I still find it odd doing this stuff. I think maybe I'm from that generation of, you know, not being so open. Not open, I think being comfortable on camera is the right word. And I think, you know, if I was to do it, I feel like it's a bit cringeworthy for me.
I totally understand.
Yeah, but I watch people do it, you know, and you know, maybe other people are more comfortable doing it. I myself am not very comfortable.
Until now?
I don't know. Maybe I'm okay. You know, I'm just ignoring the camera right now.
And that's the beauty about podcasts, right? Because we are so like into the conversation that we kind of forget that there's a camera.
Exactly. And it's the same with us as well, because I think what you're interested in is the person that you're speaking to and finding out about them and having a genuine conversation that you forget about everything else that's around you.
Yes. I mean, even for me, like we have done this about 300 over episodes, right? And I still don't get comfortable in front of a camera. You know, like I do sometimes want to try content creation. I do sometimes want to try doing videos about me trying to cook something. You know, nowadays it pops up a lot on my feed where someone is coming up with new, innovative way to do a healthy meal. But the thing is, I don't know why I just can't do it.
Yeah, I think there's this block, isn't there? And I wonder if it's just because we didn't grow up with a camera with us all the time. Whereas I feel like the younger generation, it's been sort of part of their growing up experience. It's normal to always have a camera or a phone or something on you. And it's weird because I actually started with the content creation, but in the simpler days where Instagram was just a photo, so it was easier. But the process of setting up, I can tell you, so I've got, you know, a big light and setting it all up. Now, so when it comes to cooking, if I want to do a video, the process is so much longer that it feels more draining and not enjoyable anymore. And I'm kind of like, oh, do I have the capacity? Do I have the energy for that? So I should be doing more content food stuff because I guess a lot of people signed up to my Instagram for the food stuff. But it does take a lot out of it. You know, the setup, if I drop something, I have to clean it up, you know, like I have to make sure the pot looks nice. A lot goes into content creation if you are doing it for the gram. I'd rather, you know, it's easy if you were like, oh, I made this nice meal, I'm going to snap a photo. So you might find some stuff on my stories now, but I feel like I should go back and do a bit more content creation because I guess, you know, a lot of people started following me for the food element.
It becomes work.
It feels like work now. It started off as fun. Now it feels like work. And then I'm coming up with excuses like, oh, the lighting in my kitchen is terrible. I haven't got the right space. You know, the plug is in the wrong place because we've moved house now. Maybe, you know, so just excuses which are, you know, unfounded, but I should probably do a little bit more.
Yeah, you should.
And the thing is, now people are into snappy kind of videos, right? So it's a lot of like 3 seconds, 3 seconds recording, 3 seconds recording. So you actually consume more time.
You do.
And you tend to not be able to focus on, for example, cooking.
Yes.
You know, because like every few seconds you need to take from different angle.
Yeah, because it's the way it's presented. And I think that's part of the reason why, again, I've stopped because I'm like, oh, you know, is this video just going to be one that someone scrolls past, or are they actually going to sit and watch it?
Yeah.
And then it's all about you have to have the audio voiceover, and you've got to, everything. Oh, the sound quality wasn't so good. You need the ASMR, and it's
many
just a
moving parts, right?
process.
Yeah, and this is something I think us as content creators, we understand each other.
Yeah.
But a lot of people or a lot of brands or companies out there who want to engage such service, they don't realize the work that we actually need to put into
Oh God,
it.
yeah. And I think one of the other things I've noticed is I will now, this is so bad, I only do it if I'm getting paid for it now, because that gives me the incentive to do it.
Yeah.
If I'm doing it for myself, I'm kind of like,
Yeah, we can slack a
I'll do
bit.
it next week.
Yeah. Okay. And so far, like, how are you managing this as a business as a whole in terms of the integrated health strategies and also it with Jasmin? How do you turn it into a business?
How did I turn it into a business? Right, so you have to get qualified.
Of course.
Once we got all of this, the formal qualification out of the way, then it's about, I guess, getting out there, being visible, marketing. So obviously the Forties Formula helps because people get to know you as a person.
Yeah.
There are millions of health coaches and people who are, who are doing wellness style offerings out there, whether it's a health coach, whether it's a strategist, whether you are a functional nutritionist, whatever it is, there are millions of people out there. But what you need to find is the person who is right for you, the person who you're going to connect with, the person who sees you for who you are, and the person who's going to help you achieve those results. Now, for some people, that could be me. For other people, it could be someone who's like really hardcore and basically just telling you what to do. And I think it's basically, it's going to be the person who you can check in with every week, and who is going to listen to you and who's going to support you and guide you. So find your person is basically
That's true.
the advice I've got out there.
And I'm curious, like, who are your clients? Because in Singapore, right, or at least in the circle that we are in, it's something that is not common where people actually have a health strategist or health coach to actually be guiding them. We commonly see perhaps fitness trainers as their coach, but not really someone who are looking into the other aspects of health.
Most of my clients are expats. They are women, and they're in either kind of approaching 40 or sort of 40, maybe early 50s.
Okay.
And so the women that tend to come to me are the ones who are fed up. They've tried every diet.
Yeah.
They go to the gym, and they are just not getting results because something is off and they can't figure out what it is. And those are the women that come to me. And this is when we need to look at the whole picture. Is it your hormones?
Yeah.
Which it most probably is, when you're getting to like ages like late 30s, early 40s, women's hormones go all over the place. Is it stress? Okay, so you've got children.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
You've got children, you've got a husband, you've got parents.
Yeah.
There's so many things. You're working, there's so much stuff that's in your brain, and you're struggling to sleep. Now, those types of things can really sort of play into how your health journey progresses. And so those are the women who tend to come to me.
Okay. So imagine I'm a new client.
Okay. You're a 40-year-old woman.
I'm a 30, wait, let me think, how old is my wife? 34 years old.
Okay.
I'm a 34 years old woman.
Yeah.
3 kids, stressful job.
Yeah.
I'm a teacher, but I work from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. almost every day.
That's a long day.
Yeah. That's our Singapore education system, by the way. And also after a long day at work, I need to go home and handle the kids, and then perhaps at 11 midnight or 11 at midnight, that's about the time when I sleep. So this is pretty much my lifestyle. How would you actually assist me? What kind of questions will you need to ask me to be able to understand what is my whole situation?
First things first, you need to find out, what do you want? What is the outcome that you're hoping to achieve?
Okay, so my wife, she keeps on saying, I want to lose weight.
Okay.
I think this is what a lot of people say, right?
It's the standard. Honestly, it's really funny. That is usually the standard.
Yeah, because they actually don't know what exactly that they want. So the simplest way, because it's something that they can comprehend, is I want to lose weight.
Yeah. Okay. So you've come to me and you say, I want to lose weight. So then we're going to ask the standard questions like, okay, what are you eating? What time are you eating? obviously your family background, how stressful is your job? You're saying you're going to bed at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Why is it at that time? What else is going on in your life? When was the last time you had a medical checkup? What did your medical checkup say? Can I get those results? If you haven't had one, let's arrange one.
Okay.
And then we will go through each thing. We'll look at your movement in the day. We'll look at the food that you're consuming in the day. We'll look at, again, the medical stuff that's going on. And then we will start to figure out where things are off. So you're your wife. So tell me, what time do you wake up in the morning?
Okay, so I wake up around 5:30 to 6 a.m.
Okay. And what do you do once you wake up?
So I wake up, make a cup of coffee,
Essential.
get ready for work, and then just go off to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not dealing with the kids first thing in the morning?
Not really.
Okay, great. So then you come home around, okay, well, let's talk about the work day.
Yeah,
Okay,
work
so
day, right?
the work day. Are you on your feet a lot of the times? Are you sitting down? What sort of activity?
I'm on my feet half of the day, and
Okay.
then the other half of the day I'll be sitting down more because I'll be having meetings and also marking the assignments and all. If you are talking about food, I think the portion in primary school is not that much. So I don't think I'm eating too much also.
Okay.
What I eat during the day, it depends, but most of the time it's perhaps something like noodle or just rice and a protein. Yeah, that's pretty much the entire day, and I will finish around 5 to 5:30 p.m.
Okay. So you finish it. So during the school day, are there any opportunities where you have snacks or anything to help you get through the day?
Sometimes, like colleagues actually decide to order in some things, like maybe bubble tea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so then you come home 5:30. Then what's your routine from there?
So 5:30, I get back home. I fetch my one of my daughter, and then get home. I'll have my dinner or late lunch or early dinner, whatever you want to call it, and then that's where I start to handle the kids more, making sure that my kids are all like ready for nighttime. I also make sure that if there's any homework that the kids need to do, I'll settle that also. Yeah, pretty much that.
What time do the kids go to bed?
Usually by 9:30 or 10.
Okay. And then between, let's say 10 to 11, what happens then?
I'll be doom scrolling.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I need to de-stress,
You
right?
need, you need to let it out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then 11 o'clock you go to bed
Yes, after I doom scroll until I'm tired.
until you're tired.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what I heard. Okay. So obviously this is based off of no sort of medical biomarkers, but we're just going to go with what's happening in the day. You start the day with coffee, no breakfast.
Yeah.
You have whatever is given at school as the meal, which is either noodles or rice with a portion of protein.
Yeah.
But it's not a big portion.
I don't think so.
Okay. And then
I think there's some veggie in there.
there might be some veggies in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have potentially some bubble tea.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds initially like you're hungry. When you come home and you have dinner, what's dinner like?
Rice, protein, and maybe some veggie.
And is there any snacking afterwards, or is that just the meal?
That's just a meal.
So then you will not eat
Not
anything
really, yeah.
after that.
Yep.
Okay. In terms of exercise, is there any, other than the sort of movement that happens during the day, is there anything more that you do?
Nope.
No other activity?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what we would do is we would need to get hormones checked and see, one, what is your fasting insulin like?
Okay.
Because there could be, if you are overweight, which I'm not saying you are, but if you are overweight, there could be an insulin resistance issue there. So we want to check your blood sugar levels. We want to see what's going on, especially if you're having things like bubble tea, because that's a lot of sugar.
So HbA1c is perfectly okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has fasting insulin been checked?
Yes.
And
also
okay.
Yeah.
Right. So then it comes down to body composition. If you are not stimulating your muscles and putting sufficient I guess, stimulus on it in the sense of strength training, it could be that your body composition is off, where you may have more body fat percentage versus muscle mass. And then it could mean that you are not burning as many calories as you potentially could because your body composition, your basal metabolic rate is low.
Okay.
But then we would look at strategies to help. Now, one of the first things I tend to say to women who say to me that I start my day with coffee is, right, we want to increase your protein intake and we want you to start your day with breakfast. Now, a lot of people are like, I'm not hungry in the morning, I can't eat, I don't have time.
Yeah.
But we need to make a little bit of time. Because if you start the day right, you will have steady blood sugar levels, right? Then you won't be so hungry when it comes to lunchtime and you'll have more steady energy. And then you can also have better, I guess, a better flow at work. You'll be more productive.
Okay.
Because when your blood sugar levels are fluctuating, you're going to feel probably a little bit more stressed out.
Yeah.
You're going to feel a bit more antsy, a little bit more, I don't know, if I was a school teacher, and I had kids going at me all day, I'd be on edge pretty much most of the time. But if your blood sugar level is stable, then you'll feel better overall. But then we're looking at your sort of sleep situation, right? So, you put the kids down, say 9 p.m, and then you're doom scrolling from 10 to 11.
Yeah.
But you're waking up at 5:30. You're actually not getting sufficient sleep. And we don't even know what the quality of the sleep is like. So we will ask questions like, how do you feel when you wake up?
Tired because I co-sleep.
Okay. Okay.
with my 1-year-old.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because a lot of parents struggle to sleep, not because they can't sleep, but because of their kids or their partner.
Snoring.
Yeah, that's a big one. Honestly, it's such a big one. If your partner's snoring, that's going to disrupt your sleep.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a funny story actually. Recently, when I say recently, probably about a year ago, my husband and I decided we were going to split duvets.
Okay.
Because he was so fed up of me
Keep on
pulling the duvet because I like to sleep in cold temperature.
Yeah.
I'm from England originally. I'm used to sleeping in cold temperature.
Same. I'm also from England.
And he is saying to me, I am freezing cold.
Yeah.
And then he goes, in the middle of the night, I will pull the duvet because I'm getting all cozy, in my duvet. And he would say that he'd get this waft of wind coming through and he hated it. And then we decided we were going to split duvets. So he's got his own one, I've got my own one. And you know what? We both sleep so much better for it.
Wow. So in a one bed, there's two duvets.
In one bed, there's two duvets. Now, what that means is my bedroom doesn't look like a Pinterest, like a Pinterest board.
Of course, yeah.
But it means that we actually get better sleep. And sleeping with kids now, I can tell you, I have not slept with my kids since they were babies because I do appreciate my sleep and I do prioritize my sleep. So I decided very early on I wanted to put them in their own room and sleep that way. But recently I made a deal with them. So now my twins are 8 and my oldest is 10, that when your daddy's away, one of you can come and sleep with me and we'll take it in turns.
Okay.
So I've got one kid who sleeps okay. He's probably the easiest kid to sleep with.
Yeah.
I've got one kid who snores like crazy.
Okay.
Right. And so I basically, he's meant to be sleeping with me tonight, but I'm recording tomorrow, so I might have to push him to the next night. And then I've got another kid, the oldest one, who loves to come up really close to me. And I sleep hot. I'm a 40-year-old woman. When you're in your 40s, you're going to be hot. And he wants to cuddle me. He wants to put his hand on me. And they're just, it's going to disturb my sleep. And then again, with a 1-year-old, I think there's going to have to come a time where you decide, right, when is the right time for my 1-year-old to move into their room, into a room with their siblings. Yeah. My kids all share a room, which again is another situation, So
it's a Singapore issue, right?
It's a Singapore issue. But I think you've got to decide. It comes down to priorities, obviously they're not going to be one for so long.
Yeah.
And I get that. And, that might be something that you want to do. But then if you feel like it is disrupting your sleep and you're not getting quality sleep and you're not being productive, then you may decide that, okay, now's the time I want to put the child into a different room or a different bed because I need to get some more sleep in so I can be a better version of myself. I can be a better parent so I'm not having a go at them, because I know that when I have not slept, oh my God, I'm really ratty.
Yeah.
And in fact, there was this one time, the kids bring it up, they even bring it up now. They said, Mummy, do you remember that time when you cried and you hadn't slept? Because it was like they were tag teaming. They were coming out of their room, one after the other.
Yeah.
And it was just going on all night. And the next morning, I couldn't handle it. And I'm somebody who loves my sleep.
Yeah.
To the point where one of my aunties actually made a comment and she said, you were the only teenager I knew that wanted to go to bed at 9 p.m.
Okay.
So I can tell you, sleep is a big deal for me.
Okay.
So this is why I prioritize sleep. But again, it comes down to what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You being your wife. Are you ready to move the child into another room or not yet? Not
Soon?
yet.
Since I'm my wife, I will say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does the child disturb your sleep?
She will kind of like kick us throughout the whole night.
Yeah. Do you have a big bed, a small bed?
Not big enough.
Not big. Yeah, I see. This is
Because my husband is big size.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, we could say things like maybe put a pillow in between, but obviously if the bed's not big enough, then maybe that isn't going to be useful. Is there a way that the child can sleep in the room but not in the bed?
Hopefully soon.
And again, it comes down to priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this is a priority for you, then we will figure out a solution. But if you say to me, look, I'm happy sleeping this way, then we'll look at other things. Then we'll say, right, okay, rather than doom scrolling for an hour, can we doom scroll for half an hour?
Reduce it.
Reduce it. I'm not saying cut it out completely because that's not realistic. Everyone doom scroll. Even I doom scroll.
Sometimes you need to de-stress, right? There's a way to de-stress.
Of course, everyone needs their thing. And my thing, so my kids go to sleep a little bit earlier. So I've got actually, no. I take that back. They don't go to sleep a little bit earlier. I put them down early so that I can have my moment. I want to have some time to offload. And my routine is I will say to them, right, at 7 o'clock, we're going upstairs. You can take a book. I want them to read, like give them half an hour or maybe sometimes an hour just to read and let them de-stress because they need some time to offload as well. And then I'll put them down and then I'm going to come down and I'm going to have a drink. Now, my drink is usually like a kombucha, sugar-free kombucha.
Yeah.
I add in some extra magnesium. I'm going to have some ashwagandha with it and I'm going to have a magnesium 3 and 8 supplement.
Okay.
Now, these are all things that can help you
Sleep better.
De-stress.
Yeah.
But it's become part of my routine. And then I'm going to jump on Netflix and I'm going to sit there. I'm going to sip my drink, and feel relaxed. And then I'm going to go off to bed. Sometimes the kids are a right pain in the butt and they will come down and, or I will hear them running around upstairs because their bedroom's right above the, above the living room. And I can either ignore it and say eventually they're going to fall asleep or I'll go up there and tell them, right, kids. But usually when I go up there, that's when I'm at the point where I'm already losing my
Yes,
rag.
of course.
So I have to sort of decide, right, where do I want to use my energy? Yeah. And I think a lot of it comes down to priorities. When it comes to your health, your well-being, how you want to move forward, you have to decide where do you want to use your energy and where do you want to get it back? And for me, I get it back during the time where I'm, having my moment, that 1 hour of me watching rubbish TV and having a drink. Whereas for other people, it could be doom scrolling or it could be having a cuddle with your 1-year-old, and you've got to decide what is important to you.
So in an essence, you are compartmentalizing your energy.
Yeah.
The usage of energy in the day.
Exactly. And you know what? Sleep actually helps to rebuild that energy. Oh. So if you haven't had sufficient deep sleep, sufficient REM sleep, like the way I see it is, I'm going to use Garmin as an example. Now, this is not the be all and end all, and this is the law when it comes to how you're feeling. But they have this term called body battery, and based off of how you sleep and how you recover, and if you've had some moments of relaxation in the day, which is obviously based off of your heartbeat, it will tell you whether your body battery is charged or depleted. Now, if you've had a good night of sleep, then your body battery is going to get, further charged.
Yep.
But if you've had a really rubbish night of sleep and you've had a really high stressful day, your body battery isn't going to charge sufficiently.
Yes.
And now if I look at my phone, for example, I'm putting it in charge overnight.
Yep.
I'm going to bed for 8 hours a night. It's like not charging fully.
That's true.
Why? Because I haven't had the sufficient recovery throughout the day. Now, where does the recovery come from? How you're eating, how you're moving, how you're sleeping, And also, what are you doing generally? You know, are you having too much sugar? Are you not having enough protein? So it's not about things that you're not doing. It's also about the things that you are doing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, at the start, you mentioned about we need to also assess the hormones, right?
Yeah.
What kind of tests actually assess the hormones level?
A blood test is sufficient. There are other ways of doing it, you know, like you
But
can...
which specific blood test?
So it will be the female sex hormones that we tend to... because I tend to deal mainly with females. So what we want to look at is we want to look at your estrogen, your progesterone, testosterone can be helpful as well, your FSH, which can kind of tell you whether you're edging into perimenopause or not. Want to look at your thyroid. Also things like iron, even though that's not a hormone, it's a mineral in the body, but that can also affect how you're feeling as well. You know, so there's a lot to it, but in terms of hormones, essentially what we're looking at are estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, thyroid hormones. They tend to be sort of the main hormones that we're going to be focusing on. Now, again, I want to put out there, I'm not a doctor, so I don't do these tests specifically. I work with a doctor who will look at the test results, will diagnose you, will help you with any medications that you need, and then we look at the lifestyle element. And then we will see, right, how can we support your hormones through lifestyle and maybe supplementation if it's required, but mainly lifestyle factors.
Oh, okay. So lifestyle will play a big role in everything before we talk about nutrition and also supplement.
Yeah. I mean, look, your sleep can affect your hormones. If you're not sleeping optimally, your female sex hormones can get dysregulated. You're not sleeping optimally, your insulin level, you can cause insulin resistance. If you are not sleeping optimally, even as a man, your testosterone can be affected as well. You know, if we go back to food, if you haven't slept well and you're more insulin resistant the next day, you're going to be craving things like carby, sugary food. And then this cycle continues, you know. It's compounded. And this is the thing, you know, like one night of bad sleep is not going to affect you. But think about that compounding effect. What is happening over the course of a few weeks, over a course of a month, over a course of a year? How is that affecting you? How is it affecting not just your physiology, but also, you know, how you're showing up as a person at work, at home, in your relationship, as a parent?
So I mean, like the past few weeks, right? Because I'm trying to do my best to lose weight, right? There are certain days where I just feel like I need that something sweet.
Okay.
You know? So this is like, it could be primarily because of my sleep.
It could be. It could 100% be, because when your sleep is dysregulated, you are looking for a quick source of energy. What is the quickest source of energy out there?
Okay, sugar, yeah.
Sugar is the fastest way to get energy. Now, you're saying that you are trying to lose weight. What are you doing in order to lose weight?
Currently, I'm trying this particular injection.
Okay.
It's kind of similar to Ozempic, but Ozempic is GLP-1, right?
Right.
But this one is GLP-3.
Oh, interesting. So
Yeah.
is this like the Manjaro?
I can't remember. I can't remember the brand. I think it's NX9. That's the brand of it. Yeah, but
So it's a
ret-
GLP-1 and GIP, is that correct?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I need to show you later.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
But what I know is I think the name is Retatrutide.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the... I didn't know that was out in Singapore already. Okay.
Okay, so the thing is, I shouldn't even be saying this actually, because I'm not too sure about their entire approval process.
Yeah.
But because even Ozempic, when they come to Singapore, it's still on trial for some time. So this, because I got to know that they were on trial in January.
Yes, okay.
And I don't think they have actually cleared the actual trial period.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I think it's not officially available right now.
Correct,
okay, but that is the latest version.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Amazing. Right, so what that does is it will obviously slow your digestion process, so you feel fuller for longer.
Yeah.
So what's actually happening is you're eating less.
Yes.
And also it's if I'm not mistaken, it's basically helping you use the stored fat that's in but that's already stored in your body.
Yeah.
So it's helping you sort of release that out, because I think with some people, when you've got things like insulin resistance, sometimes you've got plenty of storage, but you just can't seem to utilize it. So what is happening there is you're eating less, but you're eating less of the same food.
Yeah.
Are you supporting your body composition? Are you still trying to include certain lifestyle factors, which is going to help you in the long run? Because eventually what's going to happen with taking weight loss supplements. Now, I'm not against these. I actually think it is a great tool for people who need it, for people who are struggling. And you know what? Women in their 40s, it can be an amazing, amazing tool for you because your hormones are so dysregulated. Sometimes you need that extra support. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't give you the protein that you need. It doesn't help you build muscle mass. It's not going to help you sleep. It's not going to relieve your stress.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a tool that still requires additional support.
Yes, that's true.
So if you are focusing on protein, if you are getting in the right nutrients, if you are strength training, getting in daily movement, all of those things are looking at the long picture. And those are the things that are going to support you in your weight loss journey for the better. Because if you ever decide to come off the drug, because these drugs are not cheap, they're expensive, right?
Yep.
Do you want to be on it for the rest of your life?
Of course not, yeah.
Then you need to know what is the way that I can get off this without regaining some weight. Regaining the weight plus some.
Yep.
Because if you lose weight, losing weight basically means you could be losing anything from fat to muscle.
Yes.
You don't want to be losing muscle because that's going to put you in a position where you're putting your body at risk in the long run for not being metabolically healthy.
Yeah.
You want to be in a position where when you come off it, and you come off it slowly because, you know, it's not like one day you're taking the jabs and, you know, and then the next day you stop. You have to be in a position where, you know what, you can support your body and you've made these habits so that you don't regain the weight. And I think a lot of the time people think, oh, I'm just going to go on these jabs and I will continue my lifestyle as it is. I don't have to change. But I think you need to look at the long picture and decide, do I want to be on this for the rest of my life? If the answer is no, how can I support my transition? How can I support my health? How can I support my body so that I don't regain the weight back? Because it was your lifestyle habits which made you gain the weight in the first place.
So I mean, back to the question about the jabs, right?
Yes.
Like whether it's Ozempic or whether what I'm taking, which is the Retatrutide. I want to know what is your opinion on it. Like, what is the long-term adverse effects? Because I know that, for example, Ozempic, recently there are some articles saying that people go blind because of it. I'm not even too sure whether it's really because of that or there's other metabolic reasons that actually cause that. So I want to know, what are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are, as long as you are doing it in a safe manner and you're supporting your lifestyle, then it can be taken safely, obviously with the guidance of your doctor. If you have any weird symptoms come up, then go see your doctor and talk about it. You know, if you've got any other health risks, your doctor should be aware of this. I don't think it's the magic pill. I think some people think that you can take this and all your problems are solved. I think it's a tool that can support you in your journey.
Yes.
And I think it can help so many people. And I think it's brilliant for a lot of people who've struggled because it's not a willpower issue. You know, with some people, there's a physiological reason. You know, hormones being dysregulated can be a big thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's something that you need to see as, you know, like, oh my God, I'm going to go blind or I'm going to get thyroid cancer.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's risks with anything, you know, but I think it's evaluating those risks and also seeing how it can help you in the long term as well. Again, Ozempic's obviously been around for a longer period of time. I can't pronounce the one, the GLP-3, I'll call it, is obviously a newer version. So we don't know what the risks are, if there are any risks. In fact, there's also been studies come out which actually say, you know what, the GLP-1s can help support muscle maintenance if you are giving it the right stimulus.
Yes.
So if you're eating your protein and your strength training, actually you might not lose as much muscle mass as you would if you were just doing the dieting alone or the GLP-1 without the lifestyle changes. There's also been studies out there which now show that it can support brain health. Now, you know, if you are somebody who is in your 40s and let's say you're a woman who is going through perimenopause, your brain is severely impacted to the point, you know, you get brain fog, you know, you are running off of sleep issues. There's loads of other things going on. But if you can take something which is going to help support your brain, well, then I don't see why that is a problem. but it's not a be all and end all. I think it's a tool, like I mentioned before, to help support you, but you do have to make the hard changes. It's not an easy way out.
Okay. It's good to know that it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So
it could be great for some people,
Yeah, so the reason why I was intrigued was because in January when the research company actually was talking about this, I actually wanted to volunteer as a nurse to be looking into this entire trial. So what got me intrigued was actually because for me, because I do not have enough sleep, that's the main issue, and that is the biggest reason why I couldn't lose weight. And like you mentioned before, like it mess up with your hormones if you don't sleep well. So and I don't eat much. I'm someone who don't really eat much throughout the entire day. I can just live off with one meal a day. That has been me for the longest time. And the only reason why I keep gaining weight is because whatever that I'm eating, it's immediately turned into fat instead of being used as energy, right? Because first of all, my lifestyle and my I don't really work out that much, and I'm too involved or too focused with work. So that's the reason why I couldn't really use it as a form of energy. But the thing is, when you are at the state where your visceral fat and your body fat percentage is too high, that is always going to be the cycle. And to me, when I first got to know about this particular drug, I realized that this can help me get out of this cycle.
And that's the biggest thing, it's giving you a way out, and it's giving you that what's the word I'm looking for?
Boost.
That boost that you're looking for, because I think a lot of the times, you with people who are struggling to utilize the stored fat, it's, like you lose some weight, then you gain it, then you lose some weight and then you gain it. And, life happens, this is the thing, life happens. There's always going to be something that comes in which is going to disrupt your sleep or, a celebration or something like that. And if you're always cycling the same 5 kilos, 10 kilos, it kind of leaves you disheartened because you're feeling like you're not getting anywhere. You're just on that hamster wheel, So
and it's a big issue with people with very high fat percentage, right?
Yeah, totally. And a lot of the time what ends up happening is the stored fat is stored in your body, and your body can't access it because it's basically it starts to signal to your brain, I'm starving, I need something. Then that hunger signal also goes off. Then your leptin and your ghrelin, that gets dysregulated. The leptin is your satiety hormone and ghrelin is your hunger hormone. And when those are not in sync, you're like, I'm eating, but I'm not full, or I'm constantly hungry. And those are physiological issues. That's not something that, that person's greedy or that person's lazy or that person just doesn't stop eating. It's basically something is happening in your body. And that's what things like GLP-1 can help with is actually you're full. You don't feel like eating.
I think based on our conversation, right, from what I can absorb, sleep is the best medicine.
Sleep, you know what? Everybody needs it. If we didn't need it as humans, we would have stopped sleeping. Evolutionary, there would be no need for sleep. But the thing is, it is required, it is fundamental, and it will impact everything, So if you're not sleeping, you're not eating right. If you're not sleeping, you haven't got the energy to go and work out.
Exactly.
That's true.
Could you give us our listeners tips on how we can optimize our sleep or steps toward a better effective sleep?
Steps towards a better effective sleep. Wow. Okay. You know what? There's so many things. Everyone's heard don't look at your phone at night time. Get to bed at a reasonable time. Make sure the room is cold. But sometimes some things are beyond our control, and some things you don't want to give up.
Okay.
But certain things which I think can be really beneficial would be not having a late meal. So if you eat late at night and then you go to bed, some people, I know that you say you don't, but if you're eating, let's say at 10 o'clock and then you go to bed at 11, your body hasn't had sufficient time to digest. So when you go to bed, your body's still digesting, and that's going to impact your deep sleep. Right. So if you can eat 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, that's going to be beneficial. right? Again, if you can eat food which is broken down in terms of something that's going to give you stable blood sugar levels, so more protein, healthy carbohydrates in the source of, in the form of vegetables, healthy fats that will regulate your blood sugar levels as well, which will mean that you're not then feeling hungry at 10, 11 o'clock. Some people feel like, I had my dinner at 6 and now I'm starving. It's maybe because your blood sugar levels spiked and then crashed. Other things I would say are have a routine, have a sleep routine that will signal to your body that it's time to go to sleep now and I'm going to go to bed. So whether that is, you go to brush your teeth, you get into bed, maybe you read a book. I know everyone, I'm not going to lie, I do go on my phone for 10 minutes, but I do find that I will tend to knock out. I am taking supplements. Now, the supplements I take help me get into a faster sleep. Like
magnesium.
Yeah. Exactly, because I'm also optimizing my lifestyle. So now what I'm not going to say is, carry on, hustling and doing what you want to do and just take these supplements, everything's going to be okay. But there are supplements that you can take which can help aid you. So things like magnesium glycinate, they help relax your muscles. So, you'll feel more relaxed. Yeah. Ashwagandha is a type of, I've forgotten the term now. Again, brain fog, right? Yeah. So, it's an adaptogen and that can help to de-stress you. And actually another supplement that I take, which I think is incredible and I love it, it's called L-theanine. What that is it's an amino acid, exactly. It's an amino acid that you can get from tea. The problem with tea is it's got caffeine, so that will probably disrupt your sleep. And I take it just before bed. And what it does is I've actually got quite a wired brain, so I'm constantly thinking. It helps shut off my brain. So
it also helps with vitamin B absorption, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so some people who have got genetic SNPs might find that their absorption of things like vitamin B is not optimized. Yeah. So, things like that will also help as well. And some people take it in the morning with caffeine. Yep. If you take L-theanine in the morning with caffeine, it actually helps to boost your cognition and really help with focus. Yeah. So, depending on the time of day you take it, caffeine, again, is such a big tip, right? If you are still drinking coffee at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., maybe your body isn't metabolizing it and maybe that's interfering with your sleep. I used to drink tea in the evening and then I switched to decaf. And now if I'm having decaf tea, it's not affecting my sleep anymore. So little things like that, I think, can help as well. If you are sleeping with somebody who snores, maybe think about, if you've got the space, maybe think about, can you maybe have one night in the week where you're sleeping in a different room or a different bed so you can recharge? If you're sleeping with your children, maybe see if they can sleep in the same room, but, different bed, whether it's on the floor with a mattress or something that might just give you that little boost that you need. And if all else fails, if you have the time and the capacity, maybe naps are for you. If you can't get all your sleep in the middle of the night, if you've got time in the day, maybe you just need 45 minutes to just take a nap. And now I'm not a napper, I cannot nap.
Same.
I can't do it. My husband, on the other hand, he loves a good nap. Now, on the weekend, he'll say, I'm going to go for a nap. And I think as a partner, I think you've got to appreciate that everyone has different needs and everyone has different energy levels and everyone recharges in a different way. And I'm not going to lie, initially it used to bother me, why is he napping? I'm not napping. But then I've realized actually he needs it. I go to bed at 9 p.m. Yeah. He doesn't, So, and I think you've got to sometimes, if you are in a partnership, you've got to tag team, figure out what works for both of you. Because if you're both burning the candles at both ends, then you're both not going to be optimized, Exactly. Have a deal. One of the things we used to do in the early days when the boys were really young, we would take it in turns as to who's going to sleep in on a weekend.
You have a schedule.
We had a schedule, you know what? And it worked. It meant that one Sunday, he would take them in the morning, and one Sunday I would take them. It's now switched because I tend to go to bed earlier and I'll wake up earlier naturally. He tends to go to bed later and he wakes up later. So that rhythm works for us. But he also knows that then, the second half of the day, I'm like, they are, especially on a weekend, I'm like, they are all yours. Yeah. I'm going to have my time to switch off from them because kids do take it out of you as well.
Yeah, a lot of energy.
Yeah.
What about business? Like, now that we are talking a lot about sleep, right? How does lack of sleep actually affect your business as a whole?
Oh, that's a big one. You might think that, you know what, I'm good. I can sleep 5 hours a night and, I'm getting through, I'm managing my business fine. But have you slept 7 hours? Have you slept 8 hours? And how has that improved your business? Are you more productive? Are you able to make decisions better? Are you procrastinating in the day? Because I think sometimes, when you're tired, you're like, I've got so much to do.
Yeah.
What do I start with? You will find that you're more optimized. You've got more clarity. You're better at making decisions. All of these things can be better on a decent night's sleep. Now, sometimes that's quality, sometimes it's quantity.
Yeah.
If you're going to bed for, 10 hours a night, but you're waking up a few times in the night, you're not sleeping well, then obviously your quality is affected. And then how does that impact you in the day? Are you being more creative? I guess, we're in a creative job. We've got to think about how that affects our creativity. Are we making decisions that are for the benefit of the company, or are we just doing them because, we just got to do it?
For the sake of it, yeah.
And I think it really depends on your business, and I think it really depends on what you're trying to achieve. But try and see what it's like if you've had 8 hours of sleep and how your day is better. Are you less snappy? Some people are, just in a mood all day long because... it's a lot going on. And then think about it, right? So we're in a creative business, but let's say you're in a business where you have to go into an office and, you got people asking you questions all day long.
Yeah.
And, you're already running off of lack of sleep. And then you've got to make more decisions. And then your energy stores are being depleted by every decision that you've got to make. Every time someone comes to you and asks you a question, are you making the best decisions in that moment? But if your cup is full, if your body battery is fully charged and people are asking, you're going to be on fire, you're going to be...
Pump.
Exactly. And, are you being productive or are you just doing it because that's all you can give? Now, look, there's going to be days where you can give 50%. There's going to be days where you can give 100%. But I think the days where you can give 100% are going to be the days where you've managed to recharge better and you'll probably be able to do better overall.
Okay. So recently I read this article, right?
Yeah.
They say that if you are someone who runs on less than 5 hours of sleep a day, you are kind of like, your genes have kind of like mutated to a certain level.
That's interesting. Okay. I haven't read that article. I don't think your genes can mutate. I think it takes a long time for evolution.
Yeah, of course.
To obviously get to.
But
I think you've probably become efficient at running at 5 hours sleep. Now there are people who do have a genetic mutation, who do run on less sleep, but I think it's a small minority of people. Like I don't think it's the general population. I think there's a very small minority of people who have this genetic mutation who don't need 8 hours of sleep or 7 hours of sleep or whatever it is. But funnily enough, you can actually get genetically tested to see how much sleep you need.
Okay.
Oh, really?
So I had a circle DNA test done, and it showed that I need 7 to 9 hours of sleep.
Okay.
Which tracks because, like I said to you, from even when I was younger, I always knew that if I haven't had sufficient sleep, I'm just, I'm like a zombie. Whereas my husband, and now this is where I joke with him, like he shows that he's a medium sleeper. He can have, I think it said he's okay with like 5 to 7 hours. So I'm like, you need less sleep than me, But you can get it tested to see where you are. So let's say you go for these genetic tests. It's going to tell you, right, optimally, your genes require you to have this much sleep.
Okay.
Now, again, the epigenetics and all of that plays into it. And obviously then your lifestyle plays into it and your situation plays into it. And is your sleep within your control or is it beyond your control?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why I brought this up is because I think for about 14 years now,
Yeah.
I think I've been running for most of the past 14 years less than 5 hours sleep.
Oh, sorry. Jeez.
And I can still function well.
Yeah.
Like when I was working in a hospital, I was working under anesthesia. So you know that it is quite demanding
Yeah.
for me to be at work, right?
Yeah.
And I still can function, and I feel that it is actually quite optimal the way I function. Like when I compare myself with a lot of my peers, I believe I am doing a much better job than them. And like as time goes by, when like right now I'm running my business, I feel that I don't need that much sleep. So what you are saying is, if I were to be able to somehow make myself have that 7-8 hours of sleep, I could perform even better.
Exactly. What you're doing, you said, what I heard you say is, I perform better than my peers. But you're not comparing yourself to yourself on how you would perform have you had optimal sleep.
Okay.
So if you are this good at 5 hours of sleep, how good can you be with 8 hours of sleep?
Wow. Definitely better.
Yeah. And this is the thing, and I think it's really easy for people to just survive and get through it. But you can optimize. And I think that's the difference. Being where you are and staying where you are is good enough. But can you be better? And I think that is the real question, because that's what I want to help women do. I don't want them to just get through. I don't want them to just lose weight. I want them to be in a place where, they're saying, I'm killing it. I feel great. And this reminds me of a client, like she lost weight. She lost about 10 kilos in 3 months, which I think is brilliant. Like that's a big change.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the kicker. The kicker was when she sent me a picture on her birthday in front of a birthday cake. And she said, I feel happy having this picture taken of me. And I think that's the change. That is where you want to be. You want to be in a place where you feel happy within yourself.
Yeah.
And you are seeing your potential.
Wow.
Okay. I have one last question about, and this is still with regards to sleep and
Okay.
also our parentpreneurship team, right? What's one thing that you wish people would know about juggling kids, business, and zero sleep?
You're nuts. If you can juggle all three, you're not doing it well. You're not doing anything well.
Yeah.
I think this is the thing. I think you can do everything. You can do everything, but you can't do it all at the same time.
Yeah.
And one thing my co-host Amanda Lim says, which I absolutely love, is she says, be where your feet are. So if you're at work, do your work to the best of your ability. If you're with your kids, be the best parent you can be to your kids. And if you're in bed, just go to sleep, because
Exactly.
you can do the others so much better if you're fully charged, if your battery is 100%. And I think people think they can do everything, but you're doing those three things at like 30%, 33% each.
Yeah, not to the fullest.
You're not to the fullest, Why do things half-hearted when you can do it to the max? And I think if you give a bit of yourself, because I think this is what happens, right?
Yeah.
You're giving to your kids, you're giving to your business, but you're not giving to yourself. And I think you need to take some time for yourself. If you can give to yourself, then you've got more to give to the other responsibilities that you've got.
I guess what people think about balancing, right? So you put 50% there, 30% there, 20% there. So you're not really 100% at one particular point of time.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't think you can do a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, because, you're checking emails and you're talking to your child. You're not really focusing on both things.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important that if you give to yourself first, and I know it sounds hard, it's like that, they say it on the plane all the time, put your own mask on, and you're thinking, are you kidding me? I'm going to give it to my child first. But the truth of the matter is if you can give to yourself first through sleep, through stress relief, or whatever that is for you, even if it means, just a time out to just breathe for a minute, then you've got more to give to your kids and you've got more to give to your business and you can be a better version of yourself. But if you're like half-heartedly doing your business because you haven't got enough sleep and you're on edge and you're thinking about a million different things and then your kid's saying, Mummy, Daddy, I need this. And you're like, okay, you can't be everywhere. You're just one person. And I say this to my children all the time. I've got 3 kids and they all want to talk to me at the same time.
Yeah.
And I will always say to them, look, there's 3 of you, there's 1 of me, one at a time. And then I will turn to each child and like, right, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Because I can't give to all 3 of them at once. Just like I can't, do
Juggle,
the kids and the juggling act between work, family, unless I'm fully optimized. And how do you get fully optimized?
Yeah.
So sleep is a non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable for everyone. Because like I said, if you didn't need sleep, we would have stopped sleeping millennia ago.
That's true.
All right, so before we wrap up this episode, we usually have 2 segments towards the end. And the first segment is a rapid fire question.
Oh.
And then the last one is by Abi. It will be a surprise one.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it might caught you off guard, but
let's see.
So we have 5 questions for you. Just a short one. Whatever that comes up to your head, you can answer.
Let's see if my brain can work fast enough.
Right. So are you ready?
Oh, I am.
Okay. So you mentioned about breakfast just now. What's your go-to breakfast?
My go-to breakfast is usually eggs just because it's easy and quick. Sometimes cottage cheese and sometimes cottage cheese with eggs.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
You take half-boiled eggs?
Half-boiled?
I thought it's an Asian thing.
Oh, yeah. However, half-boiled, fried, scrambled, whatever. Just then I'm changing it up. So
Okay, cool. So what's your best health advice you ever received?
Oh, the best health advice. That is a really, really tough one. I'm going to say give time for yourself. I think because if you don't give time to yourself, you can't give to others. Like I mentioned earlier, I think it's really important. I think we're constantly, as parents, as business owners, we're constantly giving to other people all the time. But you do need some time for yourself as well.
Nice one. If you could have dinner with any health expert, who would it be?
I'm going to say Dr. Peter Attia.
Okay.
He is a longevity doctor based in the United States, and I think he's got a brilliant mind. I have a few questions for him, so I would love to discuss that over dinner. I think that would be great.
All right, cool. I think this is quite irrelevant, but maybe I'll just shoot it
Sure.
to you. Morning person or a night owl?
Oh, 100% morning. And funnily enough, I mentioned that I had my genetic DNA testing done.
Yeah.
It even specified in there that I was a morning person. So I am 100% morning person.
Okay, on a side track, does night owl really exist? Because people
Of course.
relate themselves with night owl.
I am.
Yeah. So funnily enough, it does. And so if we go, again, I love going back to evolutionary time because I feel like, as humans, there's a reason why we do things, right? So if we were in a tribe and we all woke up in the morning and we all went to bed at nighttime, then what if there was a threat in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
So some people are genetically inclined or predisposed to going to bed later, while others are more inclined to waking up earlier. And that meant that there was always someone around vigilant for any attack or any predator or, something that was going to happen. And funnily enough, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I'm a morning person. But my husband, again, based on our genetic samples, he's a night owl. So again, that complements us really well. So when we were in the early sort of postpartum times, I would go to bed, at 7 p.m. when I would put the kids to bed. He would then do the night feed and go to bed like 11, 12 o'clock because that's where he felt most comfortable going to sleep. And then I would wake up early morning and it meant that there was always someone around for our kids, but we both didn't have to sacrifice our sleep. So, sometimes it's worth, figuring out genetically where you fall on the list.
I think that's good. On to the last question.
Yes.
What's one thing that you wish you knew before you start your podcast?
Oh, before I started the podcast, wow.
Wish it would be easier.
Do you know what? One thing I wish I knew. That's a tough one because I think the whole reason we started the podcast was obviously one, to reach women, but also to learn. And I think this whole journey of doing the podcast is all about learning.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing I would want to know prior, because I feel like I'm getting to know it as we're going along. And I it's really hard to say, oh, I wish I knew this. I wish it was easier. I wish I knew how much work was involved.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of work
Yeah.
involved. But I think the whole journey has been about learning, from creating the podcasts to, doing the edits, the social media,
The
to even just,
outreach.
the outreach. God, that's the big one. But just, even what we learn through each episode is always a big one for me. So, I guess there's not one thing, and I'm really sorry.
It's okay, it's
just, I think the whole thing has been a learning process.
Right.
I wish I knew how tough it was going to be. But the thing is, nothing good is ever easy. So
Exactly. So you learn by doing it.
exactly.
All right, Ami, on to you.
Okay, so I think I want to have an additional segment.
Okay.
And this is actually a segment where we usually offer to other podcasters.
Okay.
Perhaps we can have 10 minutes for you to actually ask us any questions. So now you are the podcaster.
Now I'm the podcast host.
we are the guest.
Ooh, I love it. Okay. So, Amir, you were a nurse in your previous life.
Yes.
What was one of the biggest things you learned in your career as a nurse?
One biggest thing I learned is, and this can get me cancelled, but the healthcare industry is not as it seems. It's not something where it's filled with people with a lot of empathy. It's actually the opposite. And the reason is because as time goes by, people also shift in terms of their priorities, right? And also their belief system, right? So when I got into nursing, which was barely about 10, 15 years ago, I start to see a lot of doctors who actually do not want to be doctors.
Wow.
Yeah. And the reason is because the only reason why they are doctors is because Asian parents, if you become a doctor, you will have a certain status, blah, blah, blah. But because they don't have that particular belief anymore, because it's something their parents want them to do, I think the decision making is not as how I hope it would have been.
So their heart's not into it. It's not
Yes.
something they wanted to. That's actually really sad, isn't it, when you
Yeah.
think about it? Because I guess when you think of a doctor, you think you chose to do this because you want to help people.
Yeah.
But if your heart's not in it,
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's the next thing? Is money, right?
yeah.
And that's a concerning thing.
And that's actually quite sad when you think about it. And then I guess a lot of what medicine and I guess especially hospitals is all about treating, is not preventative care.
Yes.
Do you think that if there was more prevention involved in helping people, that there would be less?
Yes, of course. So in nursing, we have to learn almost everything, right? Because we are there more than the nutritionists, more than doctors, more than the allied health professionals.
You're the one giving all the care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to learn almost everything. And I clearly see how important nutrition is.
Yeah.
And like right now, because sometimes I still do part-time and I still handle patients who are older, right? They have a lot of drugs that is actually vitamins, but it's concentrated and it's very high dosage. I think not recently, like a few years ago, I see a lot of elder patients who have I think it's like 2,000, 3,000 units of vitamin D at one go. But, vitamin D, that you really need to be able to absorb it well.
Yeah. And if you're not taking it with K2, where is it going?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, I think it's really sad. And if it's something that they are actually having it as a drug, why not have it earlier as a preventive measure? Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the thing, I think a lot of people wouldn't be where they are had they started doing things sooner. But there are, so now what we're seeing is obviously there's a lot of this like longevity and people are trying to focus more on the preventative side. So you're seeing more longevity clinics pop up, more sort of metabolic health clinics pop up. But I guess the difference then becomes is the people who are following that trend are the ones who've got the money, the ones who are able to afford it, and then the everyday people, they're the ones who are struggling.
Yeah.
What made you want to become a podcaster?
I've been wanting to run a business for quite some time now. Of course, initially the motivation is really money in terms of running a business, because back then when I was studying for nursing, it's my second diploma and I had to pay the full school fees and I couldn't afford. So I thought business is the way out. When I started my first business, I actually kind of like feel like it's something meaningful. And then it didn't work out. And then I started a health tech business. I think I was too ahead in time because I started the health tech business in 2015. If I had started it like maybe 2018 and then COVID hits, I think it would be a different story. But and at that point of time, I also realized that, there's a few reasons why my businesses didn't work out. Number one is I'm a bit too ahead of time. Number two is I do not have the resources, I do not have the connections, I do not have the knowledge. So if I were to find a guru out there, a business guru, I don't even know whether they are legit. And they will be charging like 5 figures, right? Most of the time. So in 2018, I came across a podcast where in the US where this guy on his 8th episode, he interviewed a billionaire. And I was like thinking like, how can this person who's a nobody interview a billionaire, right? And I thought that this is a very good concept for me to learn and to be a better business owner. So that's the reason why I really want to start a podcast. But of course, it took a bit of time before we really, in 2023, where we really decided to launch this podcast. That was also the time I met Nazreen. And I reconnect with Hanafi to actually talk about coming up with this project as a whole.
Have you heard of the Cassandra Complex?
No.
Okay, so this is very interesting. So one of my favorite podcasters, Chris Williamson, he does the Modern Wisdom podcast. He's brilliant. And he talks about this a lot. The Cassandra Complex is you were right, but you were early. And you telling me about your health tech company just reminded me of that. Like you said, if you had done it in 2018, all would have been good. And what that's based on is like Greek mythology. Cassandra was a goddess and she was given the gift of being able to see the future. But because she turned down the advances of Apollo, he basically said, I'm going to curse you and you can see the future, but no one's going to believe you. So when she saw the downfall of Troy and she was telling people, nobody believed her. So it's like, you're right, you just came in too early.
Yeah.
Tell me about your health tech company. That sounds amazing.
So that was a time when Grab just started.
Okay.
At that point in time, it was just Grab Taxi. And then I thought like, okay, this concept is interesting where I can have an app to immediately get myself a healthcare professional. At that point of time, when I was still working in the hospital, for us to transfer a patient from the hospital to a step-down care or to their home, we need to call one by one every single...
see who's available.
Yeah. And to me, we are in 2015. Why are we still doing this?
Yeah.
Right? So this is one of the things that I wanted to solve. And then another thing is, why are we still calling each and every one of our nurses or physio or whatever healthcare professional to be sending in a healthcare professional who's free for the patient? Why can't we have an app where it can actually just, with a touch of a button, you can get someone there?
Genius idea.
Yeah, but I was too early.
Too early. This is the problem.
So in 2018, when I got to know about this podcast, it's called The Passionate Few. I think they are still around. They are still coming out with episodes. But at that point of time, I know that I was too early because in 2018, Singapore's podcast scene was non-existent.
Yeah.
In 2019, a very big podcast appeared, and then they were top for the past 5 years until last year when they disbanded. But in 2019, they were the one who kind of like paved the way of the podcast industry in Singapore.
Wow.
Yeah, so at that point of time, then I realized that, okay, the time is getting nearer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great choice. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm also I got to know about Bitcoin in I think 2012.
Yeah.
Which is still quite early. I think Hanafi also got to know about that time. I foresee the growth of AI in 2021, 2022, around that period. And
You are, Cassandra. You're seeing the future.
yeah. So and in 2019, 2020, when I was heavily involved in Web3 and crypto, right? Like I thought that will be a technology that will be for the next 10, 20, 30 years. But when I see how fast the growth of technology is, I know that right now, whatever I thought about crypto is no longer valid. So I'm trying to cash out whatever I have, but at the same time, more and more people are really getting into it. But I'm seeing that it's gonna falter very soon.
Right. Everyone listen to his advice.
Yeah.
He's seen the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. You know, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because sometimes you think you know what someone's up to, and then you hear more about their journey, and you're like, wow, I had no idea.
So guess what is my very first business idea or business that we started out?
Oh,
And this was in 2012.
2012. Obviously, I feel like it had to be something tech-ish related.
It's basically Uber, or no, it's basically like Uber Eats or Grab Food.
No way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, wow. So, actually, I remember when I moved here in 2012, there was something starting in England, which was like a Deliveroo style type thing. But it was really, really slow. You know, it was one of those food delivery type services where, you know, you'd have to order it off a website and then somebody would go down, place your order, you know, like. And I remember thinking when we moved here, I wish Singapore had that, because I think at the time it didn't have that option. Then when it came in again, it was really slow, you know. But I guess all of these things really took off, I guess, during COVID, didn't they? And again, were you too early?
Yeah, of course. 2012, right?
Yeah, too early. But I remember thinking, because when we moved here, I remember thinking, I wish there was something like that. Because that was the time, you know, we just moved here. And sometimes, you know, when the rain is pouring down, you're like, oh, I need to get food. And how do we manage this? And too early.
Yeah,
I'm going to have a word with you off air to figure out what's happening next. And where we can get in and see, you know, what's the next big business thing that we need to do.
I mean, the current bubble, and this is a bubble that will last very long, is really AI.
It is AI, yeah.
Because like how internet changed the entire world, that's how AI is also going to change the entire world. And I think like we started this podcast in 2013, right? 2023.
Yeah.
So in 2023, we have already tried different tools. And at that point of time, when we tried the tools, it sucked. But right now, you can't really tell apart like what's real and what's AI anymore.
Yeah. So it's weird, actually. Our intro for the Forties Formula, there's this bit where we changed one of the segments. And first it said, I think, finalists in the Asia Podcast Awards for Best Health and Wellness Podcast. But then we won. So we needed to change it to winners rather than finalists. And then when our editing team sent it to us, I heard Amanda's voice and I thought, oh yeah, this sounds great. And Amanda came back and goes, whoa, was that AI? Because I know I didn't say that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I had no idea that it wasn't her speaking. I genuinely thought it was her.
Wow.
And it's crazy, isn't it? How you can take someone's voice, take someone's image and actually create something. Yeah. But in a way, it's a little bit scary because you think, what's genuine? What
real
podcast is real?
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. Like, I think there is something about having a conversation with somebody and listening to that conversation. And what I've noticed is when people say to us, oh, can we do a remote recording? We will always say, no, we actually only record in person because there's a different type of chemistry involved when it comes to...
And I think, this is my guess, okay? I think podcasting is going to be the biggest media moving forward because it is something that while you can have AI to do a podcast, but you can't have that human touch, human connection, human interaction that we get from a podcast.
100%. And I don't know if I remember this correctly, but I feel like there was somebody who said that either they were a guest on a show or they weren't a guest. I think there was like some article and some company converted that article into a podcast, but it wasn't actually him and he wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
So it's weird, isn't it? How like people are doing that. And I wonder what's going to happen in terms of sort of, I guess, I don't know, IP rights and stuff in that space.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you do a written interview or, you know, you talk about something and someone converts it into a fake podcast, like that's a bit weird.
But it's doable though. Like,
it is
it's
doable.
doable.
it's coming from a third party
Yeah.
who discuss about a topic that eventually it's real.
Yeah.
I don't know how this works because IP related, how original is it?
Yeah.
Then I think you're going to have to start messing up in podcasts to be like, this is real, you know, like I tripped over my words or I said something wrong, you know. Just basically unedited version so that not everything is polished and not everything is perfect.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing is with humans, we're not perfect. We're never polished and something always goes wrong. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you for asking us the questions. I think one final bonus question, right? If today you are left with nothing except $88 in your bank account, how would you rebuild back your life and rebuild back your business?
Wow, $18 in my bank account.
$88, yeah.
88.
Yeah.
Okay, $88. Okay, that's a little bit better than 18.
Plus.
$88. That is a really interesting question. And I should have thought about this because I knew this is one of your questions. Oh, dearie me. What would I do? Look, I am a mother, first of all. So I would most probably go to a supermarket, get some nourishing food for my kids and try to support them and my family in the best way that I can. And then use that meal to help me get through the day, have a good night's sleep and figure out what I'm going to do next.
Okay, I think it's a good idea because, like what you mentioned earlier in the podcast, right? Like once you have that clarity, you have a good meal, you have a good sleep, you know that your family is taken care of, you'll be able to think and make decisions better.
Exactly, and I think you know, like deciding on the moment, like I've got $88, I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket, or I'm going to go bet it all on something. It's probably not the best use of your money, and I think having the clarity is going to help you make the better decisions.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, Jasmin,
Thank
for
you.
coming here today and sharing your knowledge.
Where can people find you?
Oh, where can they find me? Wow. Okay, so I'm on Instagram, which is eat.with.jasmin. There's no E after Jasmine.
Okay.
I think a lot of people tend to do that. You can find me on LinkedIn, Jasmin Dhillon. Where else can you find me? You can find me on the Forties Formula,
Nice.
which is the Forties Formula podcast. And you can always, you know, I mean, those are sort of the main places that I'm at. So I'm not on Twitter, X, whatever it's called, but I do feel like I should be. I don't know. Is that maybe I need to look into it. But those are the main places you can find me.
Yeah.
All right. With that, we conclude today's episode of ParentPreneur series, the Golden Nuggets podcast. We thank again Jasmin for honoring today's show, and I think we learned a lot, guys.
Yes.
I think the listeners can actually grab tons and tons of nuggets from just our about 90 minutes of conversation.
Yeah.
So I think we appreciate your time. We want you to come back very probably soon, and we definitely will optimize our sleep for sure
please.
and put that into our priority. All right, with that, thank you so much, guys, for listening to the Golden Nuggets podcast. We'll see you on the next one. Take care and goodbye.